Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Purdue-cers. I'm your host, Rachel. Today, we have a few people in to show you their talents. Last week, we had a juggler and a ukulele player to show off their skills. This week, we have two different acts. One group is from the Purdue Fencing Club and a saxophone player. So let's welcome the fencing club first. So, guys, first of all, you don't look like you're in fencing gear. So you are the judge, I assume?
Right, I'm the referee.
Okay, can you explain your role a little bit?
Right, so basically as the referee, what I say goes. Like my word is law, basically on the fencing strip. It's very bad to go against what the judge says. In fact, there's actually a lot of penalties for going against the judge, ranging from a yellow card, which is basically just a warning, to a red card, in which the person who actually is getting the red card, his opponent gets a point. And the final thing that can happen is a black card, in which you are removed from the tournament.
Okay, so what kind of training has to go in for that? Because you said your word is law, so that's kind of prestigious.
Well, obviously, I have to understand what's going on. Observing what's going on in the match extremely clearly is important for the judge. I obviously have to know all the rules of fencing. I have to understand what's going on, and I have to basically make the best call that I can.
Okay, that's awesome. So all this equipment, I'm really curious to see what it is. So you guys explain that to the crowd, please.
Okay. As you can see, I'm wearing lots of stuff. This one is a mask. You can see that it's a metal mesh, and then it's conductive. So when the opponent hit it with the blade, it's going to go off, and you can see it from the registration machine. And then here's a lame. It's also conductive. So you can see it have this shiny finish. Inside the lame is the metal jacket. It's a jacket and the breeches. Both of them are penetration proof. So if the blade break down, it will not go into us. We will not die from it. And then after that, we have the fencing shoes to give us as much grip as we want. And finally, it's the blade itself. The blade itself is very flexible, so it can make sure that it doesn't break during the competition. And then you basically just hit the opponent with the blade.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, what else?
And the whole thing is connected to the machine right behind there. So if there is something broken, if the wire here is broken, then it's not gonna show up in the machine since one big circuit. So when you hit someone on that lame thing that has electrodes in it, it completes the circuit. So it shows either one or two lights depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think we should explain the light. Yeah.
So as you can see, the lights go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so when these two are fencing, each time one of these blades comes in contact with either the lame or the mask, you'll see on this side, when his blade is touching his lame, there's a light on the right side, and when his blade is touching his lame, you'll see a different color light on the left side. And that is for me to understand, to see if I have trouble understanding exactly what's going on and about, I can see by the lights whose blade touched whose lame, and then I can make a call based on that.
That's awesome. Okay, any other gear we should know about?
Actually, we also have the fencing sock, but it's kind of hot in here. We didn't wear it. but in formal competition, we have to wear the fencing socks to cover basically everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety is really important for fencing. Obviously, since it's a combat sport, it's really essential that despite the fact that we're using blades and there's a lot of machinery, it's really important that nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. And then for now, every mask is like this. It's actually very hard. If you try to bend it, it never deformed. Because in 1980s, one of the fencers died because of the broken mask. The blade goes through the mask and then go into his head. So after that, the FIE, the Federation of Fencing, enforced that each mask had to pass certain type of tests before going on everyone's head.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for explaining that. And we're going to go to a commercial break really quick, but when we come back, they're going to give us a little demonstration on fencing. I'm very excited.
We are all Boilermakers, but we're also much more. We're history makers, exploring the farthest reaches of our universe, often when strapped to a rocket. We are hope makers, rebuilders of Haitian cityscapes who ensure they'll now withstand any disaster. We are difference makers, developers of drought-resistant crops that just might end world hunger. The fact is, what we make moves the world forward. We are Purdue, makers all.
We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Everyone should know how to do hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, all you need are
2 simple steps. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives.
just push to the beat of the classic song, Staying Alive.
It really works.
You didn't let me finish. I really do know this stuff.
If it wasn't for disco, I'd be dead.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
All right, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a couple demos of fencing between these two fencers. To start off, before a bout starts, there are a couple different things that actually have to happen. So first of all, you guys can move to the side here. And when they fence on something called a strip. So right in front of me is a strip. Now obviously you can't see it right now, but in an ordinary competition there'll be a lot of markings on the ground. So before any fencing happens, the two fencers have to salute each other. And then they salute me. And then they salute the audience. And finally, they'll put their masks on, indicating that they're ready to begin. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 1-0. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives again. Score is 2-0. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 2-1. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Counterattack from my left is no. Score is 2-2. On guard, ready, fence. Nothing done. On guard, ready, fence. Parry post from my left arrives. Score is 3-2. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 3-3. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 3-4. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 4-4. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 5-4. That's bout. Okay, so what you saw there was a quick bout to 5. Now, in a bout, there are a couple ways that you can earn points. What you probably heard me saying a lot was attack arrives. So the easiest way, obviously, to earn a point in a bout is to just straight attack your opponent. And when, of course, like we discussed earlier, whenever his blade comes in contact with any of the circuitry on his uniform, this light will go up, meaning that he scored that point. Now, there are a couple different subtleties which can change the way that points are earned. Now, something you probably heard me say was parry riposte, and what that, here, I'll have them demonstrate it for you right now. So what happened there was something that we call right-of-way. So whenever one of these fencers begins an attack, they get something called right-of-way. And right-of-way determines who gets the point in any given scenario. So since the fencer on my right here, began his attack, he started with the right-of-way. And the fencer on my left here then parried, which gave him the right-of-way, transferring the right-of-way to my left. And then by riposting and attacking back, he was able to earn the point, even though both fencers touched each other on the lames and 2 lights lit up. So now there are two types of bouts that are ordinarily done. There's bouts to 5 points and there's bouts to 15 points. In an actual competition, like a United States regulated competition, pools will be done in bouts to 5, and there the fencers will all determine like their first ranking. After all of those first rankings are determined, there are bouts to 15 called direct elimination, and that's when the actual victors of these competitions are actually found. So what we're going to do for you now is demonstrate one of these direct elimination bouts, which are usually a lot more intense, usually a little bit longer, and usually determine the victors of competitions. So, just like earlier, they'll salute themselves, they'll salute the judge, and they'll salute the audience. They'll test to make sure the lights are working, and then they'll begin the bout. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives, score is 1-0. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives, score is 2-0. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives again, score is 3-0. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives, score is 3-1. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives, score is 3-2. On guard, ready, fence. Parry or post from my left arrives, score is 3-3. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives, score is 4-3. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 4-4. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 5-4. On guard, ready, fence. Parry post from my left arrives. Score is 5-5. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 5-6. On guard, ready, fence. Prise de fer from my left arrives. Score is 5-7. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 6-7. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my right arrives. Score is 7-7. On guard, ready, fence. Counterattack from my left arrives. Score is 8-7.
1 minute.
Okay, at this point, the fencers usually are asked to take a 1-minute bout during direct elimination bouts. And I'll actually use this time to explain a couple of the other things that you saw in the first half of this bout. So one thing that you may have noticed is me calling something, saying something called a counterattack. Now, what this is I'll have you guys demonstrate this real quick. When the fencer on my right here begins his attack, he gets the right of way. However, because of the way the lights work, if the fencer on my left, if his light goes off, even if he doesn't have the right of way, as long as the fencer on my right's light does not go off, he will still get the point. Now, this is called something called a counterattack. So, if when he is making the attack, he is able to touch his blade to the arm of the fencer on my right, as he's retreating, it'll still be his point, despite not having the right of way. The other thing, which you may have seen, is something called prise de fer. In other like methods of fencing, this can also be called a beat attack. But the way it works is the fencer on my left will actually hit the blade of the fencer on my right with his blade, something called a beat, or in this case, prise de fer, giving him the right of way, and then he can make the attack. And it looks a lot like that. So at this point, we'll finish the last part of our bout. Before going in after the break again, the fencers will salute themselves, the judge, and the audience. On guard, ready, fence. Simultaneous. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 9-7. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from the left arrives. Score is 10-7. On guard, ready, fence. Counter attack from my left arrives. Score is 11-7. On guard, ready, fence. Parry riposte from my right arrives. Score is now 11-8. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 12-8. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives. Score is 13-8. On guard, ready, fence. Attack from my left arrives again. Score is 14-8. On guard, ready, fence. Parry riposte from my left arrives. Score is 15-8, which means fencer on my left is the victor. Thank you. So that was the conclusion of a direct elimination bout. Now, normally in a competition, he would move on to fence several more, or at least one more direct elimination until there are no people left in the competition, and he would be out of the competition. So.
Okay, thank you guys so much for that. That was awesome. I couldn't even imagine doing that. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions that I really need you to answer. So, first, can you explain your guys' club and how long you guys have been in the club?
Okay, I can start.
Okay.
So the club we have is Purdue Fencing. We meet at the Co-Rec on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and also once on the weekends. We have a lot of beginners, which are new to the club, and people are welcome to join at any time. As for how long I've been in the club, I'm a freshman, so I've just joined the club. I fence. There are 3 total different types of fencing. There's foil, épée, and saber. What you saw here was saber, but there's also some other different types if you're like interested in a little bit slower like action or more strategic action.
Okay.
So I don't know. You can talk
How about you?
A lot of people ask me if it's hard and like if they can fence without any experience, but it's just like any other sport. You gain experience while doing it. You don't have to have any experience before starting to fence. You just gain it while you fence, and it's kind of fun too.
So did you fence before coming here? Are you a freshman?
Yeah. I'm a freshman, but I've been fencing for 2.5 years, I think. I don't really count, but it's been a while. I have some experience.
Okay, so my biggest question while watching you guys was, does that hurt? Like when it whacks you? Like I feel like that would hurt. Because I see you guys like kind of like wincing at your hands sometimes, but I didn't know if it like hurts when it like whacks your arm or something.
A lot of times it does, but it's just something you get used to.
That's just a saber thing too. Like if you fence saber is the most aggressive and the fastest of the different types. And additionally, in at least foil and épée, all they do is they like stab, if that makes any sense. Whereas the saber guys have a little bit of like the curved like whip action. For the most part, it doesn't hurt too much. They're like both wearing like layers and layers of padded gear. And on top of that, like you definitely get used to it. So it's something you'll definitely like. At any sport, you'll get like bruised muscles.
Skins.
You know,
Okay.
It's something you get used to, and it doesn't hurt too much. So.
Okay, well, awesome. Okay, so you said there's 2 other types of fencing.
Right.
Does the club do all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys practice maybe a certain amount every week, or is it just whatever you're feeling that day?
For the most part, most people either stick with one method of fencing. It's a little kind of difficult to like transfer from one type of fencing to the other, because if you're doing foil, for example, the target area, which is the area like on the lame, which will actually like register a touch, is slightly different. And additionally, like the moves that you'll make with the blade are also a little bit different. So for the most part, if you're gonna like join one type, you'll probably stick with it for a while.
Okay, and super quick, can you tell me the hardest thing in one sentence? The hardest thing about learning how to fence, like if a beginner was gonna do it.
Definitely the footwork. the way you move and everything like that. That's the hardest thing to get down.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. It was really great to hear about all the opportunities that Purdue Fencing Club has, and I hope the audience knows a lot more about fencing now. Now we're going to jump into our next performance, but before that, it's time for a commercial break.
Why would you bully me?
Why would you bully me?
Why would you bully me?
Because it makes you feel cool? Because I'm different?
Do I touch a nerve?
Does making me feel bad make you feel good?
Why?
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 Bullying hurts. Bullying abuses. Bullying kills. Why would you bully me?
I'm your mediator.
I'm really glad we can be adults about this.
One thing you'll see in every society in the globe is music. It's part of what it means to be a human being. You watch these kids, you can just sense this incredible joy and feeling of accomplishment. You just can't imagine that school was at one time silent without any music.
When I sing, it makes me feel happy.
Every trouble I have, it just brushes away.
Music lets me express myself.
My life would be really boring without music.
It's like, wow, we did that?
In New York City, more than half the schools don't have music at all. And I think this is one of the great tragedies in the past decade is that it's been going down. Now we're starting to go up. And thanks to education through music, they're really reversing this. And it's the most important thing we could be doing in education right now is making sure that there's music in these schools. That costs just $150 per kid for a whole year is like the best money one could ever spend. It's changing these kids' lives and making them better people. It's going to make our city a better place.
Welcome back. One of our fencers, Chang Wang, that you just saw fencing, is ready to show us a little bit about saxophone, and he's here to play Moon Shines Through My Heart on the saxophone. Take it away. Thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. Okay, I have questions for you. I know you just did 2 performances, so I'm going to give you some time to breathe. My first question for you is how, as being on the fencing club and being a sax player, how do you juggle, like you're very talented at both, how do you juggle practicing every week?
Oh, okay. So I have fencing like every Tuesday and Thursday, and then for saxophone, I feel like it's more like recreational stuff. So I basically, if I have time, I would just practice it. If like sometimes I was like getting beat up by the exam, I would just like leave it there and then maybe practice it a week after. Yeah, because I feel like saxophone is more like a way to talk to myself. Okay. So every time like I'm feeling nervous or anytime when I'm feeling down, like get down by my girlfriend, something like that, I will play the saxophone. So after that, like I would somehow feel better. And I've been starting to play saxophone at grade 5. Actually, in China, that's not very common because most of them start playing music instrument at like kindergartens. At grade 5, my mom and dad say, "Hey, David, do you want to?" My nickname is David. Like, do you want to choose between piano and saxophone? So I have no choice of saying no. I actually either choose like saxophone or piano. So I choose saxophone. And then I feel like this one is very convenient. I can bring it everywhere I want. And then there was this chance I went to a very famous saxophone player. His name is Kenny G. Yeah. I wrote a letter to him, and then we start like sending email to each other.
You've been emailing with Kenny G.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yes. So this is actually one of his songs, like based on the Chinese song. It's actually called like The Moon Represents My Heart. Today is actually the Mid-Autumn Festival. Moon play a very important role in Mid-Autumn Festival. So it's like I'm here, my mom and dad's like over in Hong Kong. We are actually looking at the same moon, so we can like think of each other.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Cheng Wang. All of you guys are super talented. But thank you all for all the wonderful performances. Check back after fall break to see what other acts we have planned for you. Thank you so much and have a great night, everybody.